Everyone sees the campaigns, the creators, the launches, but very few understand how much unlearning startup marketing actually requires. Today's guest has lived it all, from esports to game publishing to building campaigns. Welcome to Game Changers, Voices of the Industry, where we deep dive into the stories of people shaping the future of gaming. Today we are joined by Mr. Romeo Misao, a creator, strategist, marketer, and now the CMO and co-founder of a stealth stage gaming startup. Over the last 13 years, he has worked with industry giants like Garena, Gosu Gamers, ViewSonic, BenQ, and collaborated with Krafton, Ubisoft, and more. He's helped shape India's gaming ecosystem, from Free Fire to Valorant to creator programs, esports IPs, and UGC platforms with 100 million plus views. Romeo, welcome to the show. So excited to have you here.
I'm pretty excited as well.
We can just maybe begin with rewinding a bit. I
Okay,
want to ask you about your journey and how you entered into gaming and esports. Like, how did it
okay.
actually begin for you?
Um, I mean, to be honest, like I did not choose to enter the marketing space, or let's just say I sort of started my career when the whole mobile gaming boom wasn't there, like your PUBG Mobile, BGMI or Free Fire wasn't there.
Hmm.
So I started off playing competitively like every other Indian gamer who wants to make it big, right? So I started off I think 2010. Yeah.
Okay.
I just there was no I had no idea that brands would actually hire people, or I had no idea as such what marketing was. I will be very honest, it was sort of a passion project turned into something that I really thought, okay, there's actually people who pay you for these stuff, right? So I think it was around 2013 is when I just applied for BenQ, which was back then along with Asus, the
Hmm.
only two gaming monitor brands. So
Right.
I was fortunate enough to be the first gamer to be hired as part of their APAC marketing team. So
Okay.
that's where, I sort of started my product marketing journey. I've worn multiple hats since then. So I've never had a career break, to be honest.
Hmm.
So if I would have to tell you every organization I've joined, it would take
Yeah.
like probably a couple more hours. But yeah, I would say gamer turn into marketer, then games publishing. Yeah. Yeah, that's how I've been here for more than a decade now. Yeah.
Got it. Since you came from the esports side before
Yeah.
entering marketing,
Yeah.
what skills were, the ones that you carried in the early days over the best?
I think a lot of esports or aspiring esports athletes or competitive gamers would agree with me. I think you work in a very team-based environment if you play games like Counter-Strike or even BGMI, for example, right? If you're playing that serious, to be very honest, and you have to constantly work with different, let's say, personalities in your team, right?
Hmm.
That really helped me when I was in a much more structured environment in marketing or teams. When you had cross-functional, cross-regional teams, right? You were able to communicate pretty well. For me, it worked out for me because I was a leader when I was competing, and that really helped me. Another thing was, again, like I was already playing those games that were I was basically their target audience, right? So I understood what was needed for a product marketing strategy. So I guess I understood the audience very well, and communication was something I did not really struggle with. Yeah,
Got it. Okay. Interesting.
yeah,
Like that transition basically because you were like the TG, so you understood the game.
yeah, 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 yeah.
Got it. But were there any challenges also when you was like sort of switching domains from competitive gaming to marketing and the business side?
Yes. Now I think with social media, with AI, with a lot of information right now, it's I wouldn't say easier, but you have so much resource out there, right? And you basically can just Google and read up. But back then it was more like, let's say, like all your experience were sort of your knowledge
Mm.
centers, right? So basically, I struggle to probably consolidate all the knowledge I've gathered, and I probably took time to, like make a decision.
And now, as a CMO, like, and
Yeah.
as a co-founder, has your perspective changed on gaming since, like, compared to your esports days?
Oh yes, definitely. I do belong to a certain, let's say, breed of gamers that did not know mobile games existed, right? I'm in my mid 30s and I grew up playing PC games, and seeing mobile games with that gigantic, colossal data numbers was pretty eye-opening for me when I joined Garena. This was around pre-COVID and post-COVID, yeah, combining. So I've seen gaming evolve so much, and it's growing at such a pace that I think everyone gets shocked seeing the numbers, right? So I would say, yeah, I really did not anticipate any of this, but seeing the kind of impact mobile has,
Hmm.
at least in gaming in India, not just in the casual space, it's crazy. Yeah.
What kind of, like, what are the elements that you had to sort of unlearn and then, reshift your shift your mindset into this, because it's a very cross-functional category domain that you sort of worked in.
Yeah. I mean, are you talking about esports
Yeah,
or?
I mean, from esports to then
Okay.
marketing to, now as co-founder.
Yeah. I think for esports, it was very player centric.
Hmm.
And like, when you look at marketing as a broad structure or a vertical, right, you not only look at just the player engagement or player behavior anymore. You're looking at growth, performance, right? You're also, and marketing also in gaming, right? There's with social media, different tools coming up. There's you really have to not just learn, but you also have to understand that the TG keeps changing their behavior. And
Mm.
as a CMO, you basically have to understand the target audience. Not only that, you also need to understand them in a way that you actually have to play them. I see a lot of marketers not really playing the games that they market or understanding the competitors. And I would say a lot of decisions out there are made by engagement. I feel like it's better to have 50 interested users than having 50,000 engaged users.
Okay.
I would fight for that 50 users. Yeah. So I would say, as a CMO, I would really want to have that. Even if I get like 2-digit users, that's better than having a million engaged users who probably will never play the game. Yeah.
Got it. While you spent your years, closely working with the big publishers like Garena or
Yeah.
Crafted, what was your first big learning about, how game publishing works, and like what is happening behind the scenes?
Okay. My biggest learning, to be honest, it was a bit challenging again, right? Because I came from a esports player domain, then entering a game publishing domain.
Yeah.
One of the biggest learnings I had was how much cultural relevance or local community marketing was. I didn't understand the impact of it. Like, for example, if you look at Free Fire,
Mm.
their localized regional marketing is top notch. Like,
Yes.
it's like, yeah, tier one, right? If you see their collaborations, they've collaborated with every big Bollywood name, and they've sort of made it work. I don't think BGMI has been able to do that.
Mm.
Um, but yeah, if you look at global publishers like Fortnite, for example, they've been able to crack regional as well as global IPs. And somehow, when I joined and work for publishers in India, I've realized that, okay, regional elements really do matter, because a lot of the users here are from tier 2, tier 3 cities, and like maybe getting to their phones or to that player audience could be through the local heroes they look up to. Yeah.
Got it. Mm, yeah. And like
Yeah.
a lot of players, everyone basically thinks publishing is mainly to do with marketing the game, right? So what according to you is does that
Yeah.
job really include? What are the other elements that come under publishing?
There are a lot of let's say, a lot of publishers get hate a lot for a lot of the decisions that they make, but I also didn't understand until I worked for a publisher. But a lot of the decisions that we make, or a lot of decisions that publisher make, are beyond just player engagement. It could be foreseeing retention issues, or even making sure we don't clash with a lot of operational let's say we have 2 3 regional events lined up, right? And we feel that we should not clash those. A lot of gamers might like A more than B, but we know that if we keep them at the same schedule or timeline, we oversee a lot of it. We run a lot of maths, do a lot of player testing. A lot of players are so obsessed with one feature, they forget that if we do some sort of a quality of life update, it might affect those. And sometimes making those tough decisions, a lot of the players do not really like those decisions. But yeah, it's always some, let's say, part of big quality of life update that we really want to push. But one thing a lot of people or players do not see, even I don't, for some of the games that I see, until I see a bigger update, right? Publishers really, really do multiple checks, or they really look at the blueprint from a future-proof perspective, from at least from the people I've worked with, right? But sometimes those changes are not really accepted by the community.
Mm.
Yeah, those are some things a lot of players or communities do not see. And at least for the publishers I work with, right? We have run through those ideas, or let's say even before making that big changes, we have done multiple checks. Yeah, so I would say a lot of the players do not see that. Yeah.
Got it. But most of these changes are like data driven, right? Like, finally, it's coming from the players only, but then when it's delivered to them, they don't like it or they don't see why this happened.
It's gonna be a bit controversial. A lot of the games that I work with,
Mm.
especially in India, with a lot of the mobile games, or some of the brands or companies that I've consulted, even though a lot of the decision that we made would be derived from data, or
Mm.
based on the data that we've collected, sometimes it goes south. Sometimes it's pretty
Yeah.
crazy.
Mm.
So again, we have to anticipate, and sometimes the kind of update we put out might not sound great on paper. But then again, like, I would say it's 50-50.
Mm.
But yeah, if you have, let's say we are doing a holy event for a certain game, and we didn't think it would do great. Sometimes it does great, right? So, but yeah, data always is the way I would want to go in. But yeah, it's 50-50 right now.
Yeah.
And with India, we sort of have, with some genres, there's certain playbooks that people just follow. And in case they want to go beyond that genre, then yeah, please just look at the data.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Got it. Mm. Like sometimes I understand, I completely get what you're saying. Like sometimes data
yeah.
does help us going into the right direction, but sometimes it just doesn't work and you have to keep iterating.
Yeah,
Uh,
because like I said, the audience keeps changing. The gaming ecosystem, anyways, is evolving, and yeah,
right, right. If you want to, if somebody wants to launch a mobile title in India today, like, how, what
yeah.
do you think it takes or to launch or manage a mobile title?
Uh, this is a question a lot of brands that I consult, or a lot of publishers that I consult will ask me.
Mm.
For India, I would say, first, make sure your game runs on the device if it's
Right.
a mobile title.
Yeah.
A very simple requirement. Second, I would say, make sure the regional marketing localization is
Mm.
something that you figure out, at least for the next, probably for the whole year. If you figure out the distribution regionally, locally, I don't think you need to worry. But yeah, please make sure the game runs. Second, make sure it is not too confusing or too, I'm not saying make it too desi. I'm just saying that if you have a certain target audience in mind, maybe just stick to that. and make sure your distribution, marketing is very regional focus. Yeah.
Okay. Hmm.
Yeah.
Localization is a very important aspect.
Localization is a must, and device is something you really need to look at. Like, I see a lot of people hype up their title and then their game does not run
Hmm.
on the audience's device. That's I mean, if your audience cannot even play the game, then yeah, forget about even localization at that point. Yeah.
But do you think then India can really, work, Indian teams, gaming studios can really work on a game, a mid-core or a hardcore game, because casual games, I understand, easy to
Yeah.
sort of create and then, they will work smoothly. But the
Yeah.
kind of optimization that is required on, mid-core or like very realistic games, do you think India
Yeah.
is capable of making those games, such games today?
Very controversial take. Honestly, if any, I would say anyone who's out there making games or who love games,
Mm.
we pick up a certain game not because it's from America or China or Japan. The thing about gamers is, right, we all play a certain game not because it was made from a certain region. So I would just say that, yeah, I mean, if there are talented people sitting across Bangalore or Mumbai, why not? Like, doesn't matter where you're sitting from.
Mm.
I really do not believe that a certain region should just band together and make it. But if you are asking about the kind of talent we have,
Yeah.
yeah, I mean, in this 2 3 years, we have seen a lot of talented people, and there are so many talented people working for global publishers sitting, I mean, in India, sitting in Bangalore, Delhi, Mumbai. I do not have one answer for that, but yeah, I don't think talent is tied to a certain geographical location.
Yeah,
Yeah.
of course.
But certainly, I mean, games require a lot of money. If there is someone who's able to fund a pretty good, decent sized team,
Mm.
why not? Like, yeah.
But is there any scope for us, our teams, to sort of upgrade in terms of, technical know-how and, like I said, like, because it's not, like you said, I understand that location is
Yeah.
not be location specific,
Yeah.
but for our talent, Indian talent, to where it is right now, do you think like an upgrade is required?
I think the first thing we should do in order for us to be at the level of, let's say, Chinese developers or even Japanese developers is probably hire talent from there and learn from them. Yeah, that's the whole knowledge transfer, understanding what they do there. And I don't think us sitting here and hoping to build the next Wukong is gonna be it. Like, I think it's just the whole. For example, in sports, right? If you look at sports, I know, very unrelated, but we do learn from the best coaches hired from overseas, right? That's how we sort of learn their techniques, and we sort of and we kind of put it here and we improve our techniques, right? I guess that would be a good start. Maybe work with other studios across other regions and learn what they do there. I mean, we have the internet, we have hardware, so why not just get more leadership involved in our process and learn from them? Yeah.
Got it. But like you said, it's again, it takes money. A lot of like budget would be required to do something like that, like to have
Yes, and
those.
I think we have budgets
Hmm.
for, I'm not talking about big AAA games, but
Hmm.
maybe AA games or even indie games.
Right.
Yeah. That again, the whole investment, a lot of money. I think there's a lot of, I see a lot of new investment firms, a lot of VCs coming up for such,
Hmm.
let's say, programs out there. So I guess if we take baby steps, maybe get the right talent from other regions, I think we can make it work. Yeah.
Right, right, got it. Like, how different is it really, like working on games like Free Fire or BGMI compared to, PC titles or console titles?
When you look at, okay, just one word, player numbers.
Hmm.
Crazy.
Yeah. Hmm.
You are working with probably 10 times the player numbers when it comes to mobile.
Hmm.
And it's much more riskier. There's less room for error because the numbers for something like a Free Fire It's gonna be so much more compared to a PC title, right? And the kind of let's say events that you've run in the game, and the kind of reception you're gonna get, the kind of feedback you're gonna get is so. I mean, that sheer amount of feedback is crazy. Like,
Yeah,
and you pretty much, even sometimes the data doesn't make sense. So you, then that's where your whole localization strategy really works. You really need to know what your players want.
got
Yeah.
it.
So for PC, it's a bit more flexible, right? Like if you work on a global title, because you cater to multiple regions, and your localization is, there is not so much of localization, is more global content. So yeah, you do not, let's say, offend a lot of people, so
Yeah.
to say, like, right?
Mm-hmm.
But for mobile games, the scale, the players are like like huge. It's huge. So wherever you put out, or whatever you're running in terms of localized content or marketing or localization, really really matters. Yeah.
Got it. So, generally speaking, are there any roles that people still don't know about yet if they want to get into the gaming industry, or who are not very technical, but people still can?
I actually was very shocked. A lot of people did not know there are jobs in publishing in India. They know that there are, like, for example, there are a lot of roles I see opening up for tournament organization, where they hire for league ops, or like your broadcast production managers. But they, a lot of people did not know there are roles for publishing, and operations. And a lot of people did not also know that localization specialists exist.
Hmm.
There are people who actually like translate
Yeah.
different languages and make sure the game's able to like run in those languages. Yeah. So there's so many actually. If you, like I said, right, if you just Google them also.
Yeah.
But I would say publishing was something a lot of people did not know existed.
Got it. Yeah.
But I think that has changed now. Yeah.
Yeah. So let's shift our conversation a little bit towards the creators and community side, right?
Yeah.
So, like in mobile gaming, community is everything. It like runs the game, right? So,
Yeah.
according to you, how are publishers, actually approaching creators or influencers or esports partners?
I would say the landscape, or let's say the way we look at creators, have changed a lot. Uh, I started working with creators way before all this mobile boom happened, right? So when I was in product marketing, I worked with a lot of tech, a lot of game reviewers back then. So it was very media centric. But now that has moved to more of thought leader ish creators. There's so many types of creators, right? But right now, a lot of publishers are very careful with creators as well.
Hmm.
But I would say the creator ecosystem is super important right now, because a lot of their feedback also shapes your initial launch, or a certain patch, or let's say a certain new milestone event that you want to collaborate with, right? So I don't treat them, or I think publishers do not treat them as a one-off activation anymore. More than media partners, they are part of their umbrella, sort of say. Because if you look at publisher right now, there was no, let's say, dedicated influencer marketing teams in publishing space. Not your agency side, right? Right now we see dedicated games influencer managers or leads, and there's a whole umbrella, right? So it shows how important creators are for shaping or creating sort of impression, or even getting the right amount of feedback. I think they really shape how your game is perceived, at least externally, throughout the public voices. Yeah.
And is it just to do with the launch, or is it like throughout the life of the game? You think?
I would say throughout, because at least for some of the games that I worked with initially, it was always at the base level at launch now. But now we've seen everyone is a creator right now,
Yeah.
basically, right? And you have so many levels of there's so many different types of creators, and there's so many different types of creators in the sense there are creators who do first impressions, there are creators who do walkthroughs, there are creators who actually play your game from start to finish. So I would say creators are super important for every phase of the game's life cycle. Yeah.
True. Yeah.
Yeah.
And according to you, what is it that these campaigns that are mostly creator-led,
Yeah.
what is the solution to like success, formula to success versus what fails, especially in India? Let's talk only about India.
I would say, see, there's no success mantra or formula to it, but I would say relatability. The creator also needs to be super relevant or relatable to the TG. Some creators might not be very good at communicating, but their gameplay is great. Like they know how to play the game, right? So I think making sure you dabble with different types of creators. Yeah. Because I feel like if you are only working with a certain type of creator, I feel like that might have chances of failing more. Yeah.
And the audience also sort of remains the same, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
It's
The thing is, a lot of these publishers, they have the kind of money, funds, marketing budgets.
mm,
It's not very easy to just copy paste and drop and press enter, right? I would say learn from their mistakes. I know it's very easy to just say, like learn from their mistakes and not do that. But if they're able to sort of ship a game which works better on devices
mm,
compared to the current existing ones, and if they have a pretty good, decent team that's been able to do that, and if you look at esports, if you are able to really make a game which, let's say, the game mastery loop is not insane, but the replayability is insane, or it's so quick, addictive, then I would say, you can pretty much make a pretty good grassroots esports initiative. I would say there's one misconception. A lot of I would not like to take names, but there are a lot of publishers out there in India which come to me and say, I want to make a esports ready game. That
mm.
is, that word itself is so confusing, right? I cannot just go out there and say, I want to make a game. I want to get into sports and make a game like cricket.
Yeah.
I mean, if you have a decent size grassroots, or let's say decent player base, you can grow an ecosystem out of it. I think that's how esports titles are born. Yeah.
You think cricket can become an esports friendly game? Can it be? Now that we are talking.
Um, I mean, we have the numbers here, but see, again, esports, when we talk about esports, even if you look at PUBG Mobile, BGMI, Free Fire, or Mobile Legends, for example, they have a pretty structured ecosystem
Mm,
which leads to global fame, recognition, money, playing for the country. If that is in line, or there is such a structure for a cricket title, why not?
mm,
Yeah, let's say I have a pretty good, decent cricket game in India. Let's say I have like 500K people,
mm.
and if I have enough people to create a global IP out of it, I guess you can. Yeah, because see, for all these titles that are in India, Free Fire or BGMI or even Mobile Legends now, they all have, every player who's playing it or competing wants to become the world champions also, right?
Mm.
I'm saying that if, as long as there is a whole roadmap from, let's say, local hero to global championship, that's what a lot of people vie for, right? They want to become the global champions. But if you create a local esports ecosystem, that needs to lead to somewhere bigger. It cannot just end in India.
Where do you see India's esports plus this whole mobile gaming ecosystem heading? Like in the next 3 to 5 years, what changes do you think will happen?
I would say in terms of the amount of interest for esports, obviously it has increased so much over the years. I think if you look at your current mobile titles also, we have so many different teams coming up, and they've been representing India. I do not see that stopping. The only way we could even get like a podium finish at a global championship is obviously if these players also get some exposure
Mm.
by playing with other bigger, better team from other regions. I think that is a bit of a challenge because of server constraint, latency, ping issues, right? But if we are able to get slots in other regional events on an offline event, I think yeah, we can. And I don't. I think the esports scene is always gonna grow. Yeah, I just hope all the publishers also work on the grassroots side of things here
Mm.
because I when I was even working Garena, I saw a lot of really good players and teams, which probably the like esports media have never heard of. Yeah,
Got it.
yeah,
Okay. What we'll do is we'll just have a quick rapid fire round. I will ask you
sure.
like 3 to 5 questions, not more.
Yeah,
And you just have to say the first thought that comes to your mind. Yeah.
okay.
Okay. One mobile game that changed your life.
I would say Free Fire. Yeah,
Okay.
yeah.
A publisher you dream of collaborating with someday.
I would say Kuro Games.
Okay. If you weren't in gaming, what industry would you be in?
Uh, very difficult to be honest. Like I was very interested in politics, but looking at
Oh my God.
looking at the political landscape, not so much. Maybe I would say I would have tried to become a chef. Maybe. Yeah.
Okay. Nice.
Yeah.
Do
Yeah.
you like to cook?
Yeah. I do.
Oh, okay,
Yeah.
interesting. What's your favorite comfort game to unwind with?
Again, Wuthering Waves from Kuro Games.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
And one marketing campaign in gaming you wish you had worked on.
It would be for League of Legends. They had this Arcane collab. Yeah, which is one of their own IPs. Yeah. That was something I wish I could have worked on. Yeah.
Okay, awesome. Okay, I think that gets us to the end of the conversation. I really
Yeah.
enjoyed our conversation, Romeo. Thank you so much for joining
Same here.
us
Yeah.
today. Yes. So we had a really incredible conversation. We sort of broke down the real side of game publishing and startup marketing. And Romeo's journey and insights will genuinely help a lot of aspiring marketers, creators, and industry professionals listening today. For everyone tuning in, thank you for joining us on Game Changers, Voices of the Industry. If you enjoyed this episode, of course, make sure to follow, share, and stay tuned for more conversations with people building the future of gaming. Until next time, keep learning, keep experimenting, and keep leveling up.